What's up, guys? This is Kyle Rose back at you with another video, and today we're going to be talking about more Sonic content. Now, this is something new because I never actually went into this type of conversation before, and I want to talk to you more about the aspects of the adventure versus the classic parts of Sonic and where we should go when it comes to the remake of Sonic the Hedgehog. Now, with the classic era, we know that a lot of the classic games were absolutely perfect in each and every way possible. A lot of the gameplay formula and the graphics as well had been perfected during this time. And when you want to, if you want to include Mania, that was the most perfected game in the classic era, and it just shows you how perfected and beautiful the formula is graphically and from a gameplay aspect. So now if we go into the adventure formula, as much as I grew up with the modern version of Sonic, and I prefer the modern version of Sonic versus the classic version of Sonic, modern Sonic has a lot of games where we can admit that it was just not, it has to be polished, basically. And with modern Sonic, we have to figure out where do we go with his gameplay formula. His gameplay formula is absolutely it's everywhere. And we already know with the adventure formula, that's the one that truly set off the 3D formula back in the day into what we have now. If you haven't realized this, but Sonic the Hedgehog, as well as Mario, and I think also Donkey Kong, those are they were the pioneers of 3D gaming platform, or just 3D gaming in general back in the day, as well as Tomb Raider. So these were the first earlier 3D games that ever existed that everybody knew about, and we just evolved into games that we have now with Call of Duty, with The Last of Us, and with Sonic the Hedgehog. Where do we go with remastering? And I think this is an interesting topic because you do know that with the adventure formula, and a lot of what the adventure had from 1 to 2 has always been considered unpolished or outdated, versus something like the classic formula, which hasn't had that type of stigma on its name, whereas the adventure formula has always been classified as outdated or whatever. And why is that? Well, we have to figure out what we define as outdated. And my definition, I can't provide you other people's definition, but my definition of what an outdated game is when you have a gameplay that is either stiff or not polished enough, which we do know in Adventure 1 it was very unpolished in terms of gameplay, because we know that there was a lot of glitches in certain levels of the stages when you're playing as Sonic in particular, as well as Tails. Even though Tails is not necessarily glitching out the game, his gameplay formula, he basically flies over maps. So it's where do we go from there? How do we polish that out? That's a perfect polishing of Sonic Adventure 1 in particular. And when it comes to the graphics, we know that Sonic Adventure 1, if you want to include the DX version, I do prefer the DX version over, or not the DX version, I do prefer the original version over the DX version, because when the original version had a lot more grit to it, it had a lot, it felt more realistic than the DX. DX kind of felt plasticky, and there was some lighting problems with the different ports of the game, especially when you're talking about PC versus GameCube and Dreamcast and all that stuff. So that's out the water. So graphically, it could be completely changed. And a lot of the reasons why we talk about remaking Sonic Adventure 1 is because of the fact that the graphics just if you want to compare the DX version, the graphics aren't good. The gameplay is decent enough, but given the fact that you play as literally so many other characters, and you then play as Sonic, and then you go from Sonic to having a lot of glitches in the game, it just has a lot of problems within the gameplay. Just a lot of problems within the game itself. When you go to Sonic Adventure 2, Sonic Adventure 2 did change a lot of this, but also you still have some of the glitches and some of the inconsistent gameplay motions and animations that kind of cuts out from the feel of the game, especially when you first play as Sonic and you don't know what you're doing. It feels like you're stopping in mid-roll when you decide to roll as Sonic the Hedgehog or whatever the case may be. And yeah, and it's just, it doesn't feel right. And with classic Sonic to me feels absolutely perfect. There's nothing to say about it. You go left and right and you jump like any other 2D platformer, and I guess because it's a 2D platformer, the gameplay kind of makes it more consistent because of the fact that you don't have to think about the 3D dimension, and all you have to do is just go left or right and then jump. And the platforming segments are absolutely perfect. I feel like the graphics was good for its time. I feel like if there was to be a remake with the classic formula, they don't really have to remake much because we already have Sonic Mania, and with Sonic Mania 2, we're gonna safely assume that Sonic Mania 2 is going to be, you know, similar to Sonic Mania 1 in terms of graphical fidelity. And now there is this fan-made game out there there's like Sonic the Hedgehog 2 HD collection, or not HD collection, but it was like an HD remastered version of Sonic the Hedgehog 2. It's a fan-made game, and I highly recommend that you try it out because it's free. And it's like, well, not done, but it already had Hilltop, you know, Chemical Plant, and you know, the first zone, I forgot the name. And all three of those zones are absolutely beautiful. And that shows you what a remastered version of Sonic the Hedgehog, a classic version of Sonic the Hedgehog, would be and look like. It feels amazing. The animations are absolutely spectacular, and it just would do so much wonders if the classic version of Sonic would have remakes like that, like how Resident Evil had remakes. So what do I think when it comes to the two different eras of Sonic? Do I think that the classic era needs more than the adventure era, or vice versa? Now, hear me out. I think that it is best for the adventure era to have these type of remakes because we already know the inconsistencies. We already know how unpolished, even though the Adventure 1 and 2 are absolutely amazing games. And if you want to include Heroes, those are amazing games, but they always have some sort of inconsistency, especially Heroes in some aspects, because when you're going from speed to power characters, like the speed between them is kind of, you know, drastic, and you might fly off the stage sometimes. So there's a lot of inconsistencies, mainly because of the fact that it was ported from 2D to 3D. And just based on that alone, we have to realize, okay, yeah, the adventure formula does have problems that needs to be, you know, resolved so that we don't have to worry about it anymore. So this is if they was to do a remaster of either eras of Sonic, and I would really recommend the adventure era because they have so much potential to be way better than its predecessors. So with the classic eras though, we should, you know, obviously continue with the Mania 2, maybe Sonic Mania 3 in the future, and or another modern Sonic game. Anything like that would be cool, but not a complete overhaul remaster in the sense that like Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil 3, and we might get a Resident Evil 4 remaster, I don't know. But in terms of the sense that we have like the Resident Evil series remastered, I think that the adventure games does definitely need that type of, you know, improvement onto its gameplay by, you know, adding an overhaul of the system. So that's my thoughts. If you agree with me, please give me a comment on below so I can talk to you, and then we can just discuss whether or not you agree with me or not, and what do you think about the classic versus the adventure era. If you think the classic era needs more polish or the adventure era needs more polish, please give me a comment down below, and follow me, and I will talk to you on the next video. I'll be making more next time, and this is Kyle Rose signing out. Peace.